What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And if you, maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Speaking of entertainment, today on the program, I have 3times7. No, that's not a math problem. That is the name of the band from Surrey, England. 3times7. I got Jenny and David on the Zoom, so you get to hear from them in the next few minutes. So stick around. This week's shows, I will be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas on Friday night, my usual Friday night gig. It's the video dance party, karaoke jam. Yes, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show. It's a little concert starring each and every one of you. So come on out to the Rab. They got a full bar. The kitchen's open. They got some good food. They always send me home with some good food. I'm so excited. You know, when the entertainment goes home with a doggy bag. They used to call them bandwiches. Hey, you got any bandwiches? So, you know, a little food for the band. Well, it's nice that they send me home as like a little bonus as they send me home. Usually it's chicken wings because I like the chicken wings there. But don't eat all my chicken wings, okay? Or go ahead, eat them all because the burgers are good too, and so is the pizza. Let's see. They also have 10 diamond-style professional pool tables. In fact, on Friday nights, they have a pool tournament. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, you go to the Rab. And they always leave a couple of tables open for the regular folk that don't want to necessarily be in the tournament and they want to play pool while they're waiting to sing on stage, having some drinks, having some food, playing some pool, singing some songs, dancing, and just generally having a good time at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Friday nights with yours truly. Come on out. I'll be there from 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. Good times. And then on Saturday, let's see, last Saturday night I was at the Choctaw VFW, and I'm usually there at least one Saturday a month, so I'm kind of excited about that, Choctaw, Arkansas. But this Saturday, I have a private party. It's a birthday party in Conway, Arkansas. But unless you're invited, you cannot come. I'm just excited that I get to do birthday parties. It's going to be a little karaoke video dance party, so I'm stoked about that. I like celebrating with people and having a good time. And that's what this whole business called show is getting people out of their houses and having them join up with some other people and having a good time, listening to some music. Speaking of music, let's get into it with 3times7. Like I said, I got Jenny and David on the Zoom. So if you're listening to the audio version of this, check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDan. Zooming 3times7 now. I got all my broadcast software set up. Oh my goodness. Well, 3times7. I guess we start this podcast off with a maths problem. And yes, I did say maths because here in America, we say math, but for some reason in England, I guess traditionally it's maths, plural. Tell me, correct, since you are a maths problem, why is it maths plural rather than math singular?
I think it comes from mathematics. I'm not sure why it's plural, but yeah, I'm not sure. But thank you.
I think math is the subject and maths is the act of doing.
All right, then. All right. Okay, I have two different possibilities, and I know my loyal listener is busy right now typing that email, making sure that the right answer gets popped into my head. It's something that can be easily searched upon on the internets, and I did pluralize that. Everybody's got a smartphone in their pocket, a computer that's more powerful than what took the astronauts to the moon. But I guess this is all a digression as we start this off. Hello, 3times7. My name's Dan, hello. Keys Dan. To whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
I'm Jenny.
And I'm David.
All right. Jenny Lawrence and David HOLDSTOCK. Okay.
That's the one.
And that would be the singer and guitarist, respectively. Yes.
Correct.
Very exciting. I've got a little bit of research, but I don't like to research too much. I've listened to some of the music, very sultry, very bluesy, not only in that box. You know, you do have some acoustic stuff that there was one, a little help from my friends. That was an acoustic hit. Oh my goodness. That one got me. But then some of the songs I'm listening, there's a little bit of Natalie Merchant in there, 10,000 Maniacs. Are you familiar?
Yes, yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Okay. I'm hearing a little bit of that in your vocals. But, you know, I'm one person that hardly knows you at all. You can give the people, my loyal listener, an idea of who you are. Who is a 3times7?
All right, so we are a band based in the south of England. We write a lot of our own music, and we try and find the positive in the situations through our songs. So we like to have a happy, upbeat vibe to the song, even if we're telling a sad story, but it makes you feel upbeat and happy. Inspired by lots of things, blues, soul, funk, mostly. But yeah.
Yeah, we started doing the open mic night circuit, just an acoustic duo, and everyone was singing all these sad songs about how everything sucks. And so we were like, no, let's try and bring some positivity back into this world. There's enough bad things going on at the moment. It'd be nice if somebody said, actually, do you know what? It's not all bad.
But it's ironic that you're in the blues area, okay? Because the simple, just the act of playing the blues with the melodies makes you feel kind of melancholy. It's going to make you feel, well, blue. You know, that's generally, what the blues are. Is people singing about their woes, thinking about their troubles. But you're taking it and turning it on its ear, turning it in a different way. You're singing the blues, but in a happy, okay, I like an Elton John. He's saying, I guess that's why they call it the blues. Laughing like children, living like lovers, rolling like, and I'm like, Elton John don't know nothing about the blues.
Well, it's not necessarily all about feeling sad. It's about having emotions. It's about feeling your feelings. It just so happens that my feelings tend to lean towards the more positive side. You can still write a really lovely blues song that makes you feel something.
Well, I was brought up on BB King, and let me tell you, when he was singing "She's a Sweet Little Angel, Always Spreads Her Wings for Me," that wasn't a sad incident that was happening there.
That's such a rude song.
All right, BB King was on tour. This is much later in life. This had to be around 2000, and he went to Miami, and they had a promotion at the Guitar Center, the guitar shop in Kendall in Miami, and Lucille was on display, and there was a sign that clearly said, "Do not touch." What did I do? Of course, I put a finger on it. Of course, I touched. Like I'm a 12-year-old boy. I was fully a grown man, and I'm touching Lucille. Greatness. All right. I did listen to a podcast, a history podcast today about Louis Armstrong. And so he's fresh in my brain from the 20s, from the 30s, from the 40s, from the 50s, changing music, changing jazz, changing blues as it is. There's 12 seconds of a song called, oh gosh, I can't remember. It might be the Dipper Lip Blues. It might be that because Dipper Lip was one of his nicknames. They called him a lot of like the Satchmo and stuff like that. But there's 12 seconds of music that changed jazz, changed the blues, changed the way music is. And you know, that's one thing as a singer, as a songwriter, as a musician, you could change lives, you could change moods, you could change attitudes with a piece of music. And that's what you're attempting to do. You're actually going out and trying to say, you're coming to a blues show, but you're going to leave happy. That's your intention?
One of my favorite singers of all time is a lady called Mavis Staples from the Staples Singers. I've seen her a couple of times feel so honored that I've been able to see her a couple of times. And she always says you should leave live music feeling better than when you arrive. And I really stand by that. I think that you should feel lifted by the live music. I think it's really important.
Yeah, but that's not always the case. I mean, I used to go and see punk rock shows, and they were singing about, the damn the man, anarchy, and this is life is terrible.
You came out feeling pumped, I bet, like rah, like really big and good.
It
right?
was cathartic. Yeah? You're right. Yeah. It was. I came out screaming and kicking and just finding that, all right, my life isn't so bad. They're singing about their woes, that they have no food and they got no job and they got no money, and that's the blues too. It's not just punk rock. That becomes a part of culture, of telling a story, storytelling, which is what your music does. It tells stories. So tell me about the story of you. You said Southeast England, Surrey. I looked it up. It's just southeast of London. I guess that would be the big town, the one that everyone knows around the world. But Surrey, I've heard of Surrey, England. Tell me about life in Surrey if you were on the tourist board.
Oh, interesting. It's very green. We're halfway between London and Brighton. So Brighton's on the coast and we're halfway between the two. It's a lovely area. It's very, very green, very open. It has got quite a good music scene. Not the best music scene in the world, but we're building on it and we're trying to build it up a little bit. It's a bit cold and a bit rainy most of the year, except for currently where it's really, really warm and lovely. But
it's an interesting mix of old and new. We've got pubs here which are sort of twice as old as the USA, still kicking around. We've got other buildings which were built sort of like 6 months ago. So it's a real mix of... There's a lovely little town near where we are called Dorking, which is a very, very old town. So everything's sort of very sort of Tudor-esque, Stuarty,
and they've got some fantastic antique shops down there. If you like antique hunting, that's the place to go. There's lots of good shops down there.
Still looking for the antique guitar.
Working on it.
Well, I mean, you already have your gear, but yes, I've talked to a lot of guitarists on this thing, and you can't have too much gear. Sometimes they'll buy gear, they'll buy guitars, and their family they might buy a guitar before they pay their rent, before they buy food. Why did you buy another guitar?
No comment.
How many guitars do you have?
I think it's around about the 15-ish mark.
But why? You only have two hands. You can play one guitar at a time. Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
But there's they do different things. I've got acoustic guitars. I've got bass guitars for when I'm ever doing bass on duties. I've got sort of guitars that I can throw around on stage and not worry about. I've got other guitars which are more for the studio because they're a little bit more temperamental. They're a bit older. They've had some weird tweaks to them. I've got workhorse guitars. I've got they all get seen. They all do a lot of work. They don't just sit collecting dust on the shelf.
They do get looked after as well. They're beautiful.
I try.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a guitarist, man. You like gear, and I understand gear. I have a mixing board that I bought behind me, and I already had a perfectly good mixing board that was doing the job just right. Why did I get a second mixing board? I don't know. I heard it was a little bit better. It sounded better. The quality would be better on this podcast. And that's what I want. You want the best sound for the job. And I'm sure those guitars, you say workhorse, one's acoustic, one has a higher tin, one has feels a little bit lower, the one's heavier in your hands. When you want weight, if I'm too tired, I'll play the light one. But I guess there's different tools for different jobs, and that's in any profession. So, Go ahead, David.
I'm going to take the gigantic Marshall stack with the Les Paul and the 6 foot wide pedal board out to a little pub. I will take something a lot more small and compact.
See, now you're naming names that people know. People know what a Les Paul is, and people know what a Gibson is. People know the pedals, that they do something to affect the sound of the guitar. We already talked about B.B. King and Lucille, and for my loyal listener who may or may not know, probably does know, Lucille was B.B. King's guitar. And I can't remember, was it a Gibson or a Gretsch?
It was a Gibson. It was a
Gibson.
Gibson 335, named after the guitar he ran back into a burning building to collect.
Would you go back into a burning building for any of your guitars?
3 of them, yes.
Okay. How about for Jenny? Would you go back for Jenny?
Jenny would be out the door before the flames started.
Okay, so Jenny would have left you in the dust. Okay, all right.
Yes, that's more like it.
All right. God forbid, since we're on this subject, if there was a fire, Jenny, what would you take out first? What is the most important thing in your house that you have to take with you?
Oh goodness, that is quite the question.
We can come back to that.
If gown? Is it the microphones? There's quite a lot of stuff that I'd want to take. I think stop the fire would be the best option.
If barring that, okay, you can't stop the fire. You have to grab one thing on the way out the door.
I have a particularly special CD that I like a lot, which is signed by my favorite artist, which is John Cleary from New Orleans, and I particularly love that. And it's kind of by the front door, so that kind of would go out, I think, with me. Yeah.
Now that's high praise. We got to tag him in this, John Cleary. All right. Have you ever gotten the chance to meet up with him or watch a show?
I have, yeah. I've seen him over in London a few times, and because he's originally from Kent, moved out to New Orleans and stayed there, and has got this fabulous band called the Monster Gentlemen that he plays with in New Orleans, and they're amazing. They're absolutely amazing.
Bonnie Ray.
He did, yeah.
Well, and that brings me back to almost the beginning when I said that I heard a podcast today about Louis Armstrong. He's stuck in my head. Yeah. He's from New Orleans, went to Chicago. Went to Chicago to play with King Oliver, got too big for him, went to New York. So people travel when they're doing their music business. How far out of Surrey have you been with 3times7?
Oh, well, we've done the Chicago down to New Orleans. We've gone 3 European tours. We've got, the third one's actually to LA's booked, and that's looking like that's going to go all the way over to Slovakia. So, we get an
we get around. Anywhere that'll have us.
Okay. So, I mean,
weirdest place we've played. We played a couple of prisons just outside Frankfurt in Germany.
Yeah, that was a fun day.
Think Johnny Cash.
Well, did you get to do Folsom Blues?
We didn't.
We decided it might be a little bit cliche.
On the nose.
Did you at least do Jailhouse Rock? Something.
Oh, we did do some
rock and roll and some old blues and things.
Tunes.
Yeah, it was great fun. And they just wanted to tell us about music, and they wanted to talk about what they'd seen in the past and what they'd heard and what they liked. And we played some songs. And
one of them got up and rapped with us.
Yeah,
that was quite cool. Some rap over a blues backing.
Well, okay, there's another subject that's kind of touchy is the prison rehabilitation. Do prisons really rehabilitate? And I think when musicians get the chance, to feel like a normal person, like, yes, you made a mistake. Some people have made the ultimate mistakes, terrible mistakes. They know, or they may not know, that they deserve to be in prison the rest of their lives. But some people made a mistake. Like, I've heard people still have prison sentences for holding a joint, a marijuana cigarette, and they're still in prison, even though their state or their area of residence has made it legal, but they're still in prison. Okay, so those people may be able to make their way out. But rehabilitation, do you think that music helps in the rehabilitation process?
I do.
Why did you end up in the prison anyway?
So we were asked to go as part of it's like a reward scheme for the prisoners who had earned merits, right? So not only had they had to earn merits, they then had to be personally invited by the person who looks after the prison. I'm not sure what they're called, the warden. They then had to reply to that with a letter as to why they should get to go. And then at the end, they were then approved for this particular gig. And they do this gig twice a year,
something like that,
for those prisoners that get invited to go to this. So by the time they got to this gig, they're all like beaming. They are so excited to be hearing live music. Some of these prisoners saying they're spending 22 hours a day in their cell, like with no other company, nothing to keep them occupied. They're not allowed to have musical instruments. They're not allowed to have any of these things. And so to be in a room where they're allowed to dance, we encouraged them to get up. We asked if they were allowed to do that first, and they said, yeah, that was fine. So we got them up dancing. They were talking to us. They were chatting between themselves. They were having a fabulous time. And you could see, like we were saying with Mavis Staples, they left feeling different to when they arrived. And it was having that, knowing that if they're good and if they continue to do the things that they've been doing, they could do this again in a few months' time and have another day with another band where they get
sort of younger guys who haven't been there very long, they kind of want to get up and dance, but they're looking at the older guys to see if they're doing it. And eventually the top dog will start tapping his head or something, and then the next guys will be like, oh, that means that we can have a bit of then get this ripple effect through the whole audience. It was brilliant.
Okay, so
then one guard and us.
There is a hierarchy in prison, as well as almost in all life. There's always a class, a bigger dog that you need to fight. All the cliche in the prison movies, or the movies that feature prisons, is when you get in there, find the largest person and beat them up, and then you'll be respected. You know, I guess that's a cliche, but there might be some truth to it. And I'm thinking of two different. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we were basically told, go in there and treat this like a gig. If you treat them offish like prisoners, no one's going to have a good time. If you go in and just treat them like people, guess what? They'll act like people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we had a really good time.
Yeah, at the end of Blues Brothers movie back in 1980, I guess.
I love the Blues Brothers. Yeah. What a film.
Yeah, at the end of the Blues Brothers movie was the jailhouse rock scene where they all got sent back to prison and ended up playing a show, and yeah, they all danced on top of the table. Hey.
First guy to jump up, that was Joe Walsh.
Say again?
The first guy to jump on the table in that movie, at the end, that was Joe Walsh, dressed as a prisoner.
Rocky Mountain Way. No.
Legend.
Have you learned all those licks?
Oh, and the rest. Yeah, I love the Eagles.
Okay, I dig it. And the Eagles, man, there's a band, West Coast of the United States, have that sound. I mean, these are these are touch tones. These are people that influence you. You've said B.B. King. You've said you said the girl that Staples. Maples. Maples. I'm sorry, not the Staple Sisters. The Maple Sisters.
No, the Staple Sisters.
It is the Staple Sisters.
Main one. Yeah.
Staples. Yeah, she's the youngest of the sisters, I think.
Yeah, I think
I think she's the only one surviving now. But she's phenomenal if you get to see her. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I play their music. I mean, as the DJ, this is my job. I've had guitars. I play 3 chords, and I've put the guitars down. I have a harmonica sitting back here. There's a ukulele sitting back here. I have musical instruments. There's a full piano out there. Thankfully, my family knows how to play some of that piano, so I do get to hear some music, live music in the house from time to time. But I've never taken the time to play an instrument, to learn, and I appreciate when someone does take that time. Now, looking at your YouTube, you've been playing together for at least 9 years. Is that the case? So it has been 9 years. I mean, when did you all come together, and what were you doing? Well, what were you doing previous to that, separately, musically? When did Jenny learn how to sing? When did David learn how to play guitar? Or was there something else?
I'll start first because I'm less interesting. I've been playing live in pubs since I was 16 because if you had a guitar in the pub, we have a legal drinking age here of 18. If you had a guitar in the pub, you didn't get ID'd. So I've been playing in rock bands and grunge bands and sort of heavy rock bands for a while. Then I've always been interested in the blues. I've loved the blues. My mum said to me, you can have a guitar if you learn to play like Eric Clapton. So that has always been the challenge. I don't know if I'm quite there yet, but she seems happy enough. Yeah, so I wanted to start a blues band, and Jenny wanted to sing in one. Where did you start, Jenny?
So I started out in musical theatre, and I did a summer school where I was cast as a lead in a musical, and I loved it, and I had to learn to sing to be able to do that part. I then went into a specialist school for musical theatre. And when I came out, I was fortunate enough to go on stage for a little bit in a play. in a musical about Queen. So I got to be in that for a little while, and I had to learn all the Queen songs and learn all the parts, which was really, really fun. But unfortunately, my my body didn't like being in musical theatre, and so I had to stop doing that. There was too much pressure on my systems, so I changed, and I'm now an event organizer, which is good fun. But there was a moment where I was very sad leaving musical theatre behind. And it just happened to be right at the same time that David was like, I've written a blues song. Do you want to sing it? And I said, oh, all right then. And then I had to learn how to do non-musical theatre. It's a very different skill. It's very personal when you're singing to people and you can see them and they're sitting 2 feet away from you. It's a very different thing to being a character with the lights up and you can't see anyone and you're doing your bit. It's a very different thing. So it took a little while to work out who I was as a singer rather than who the character has always been. So it's been a journey.
Also, you got to sing with me instead of Brian May.
Exactly. Honestly, a step up there.
Well, you mentioned my favorite band, Queen. I just did a video on them just about a month ago, a short history of them. I had 13 of their albums at one point. And sadly, I've lost all of my thousands of records that I've had over my lifetime. I have one Billy Crayon record that he sent me, and then I think there's a Jimi Hendrix Experience record in my closet there. And those are the only 2 vinyl albums that I have. But Queen, my absolute favorite. And
Queen
yes,
inspired the way that we recorded the harmonies in Wait. So what we did is the way that Queen did a lot of the harmony recording is everybody sang all the parts, whether it's the highest part or the lowest part, everyone sang all the parts. And that's how you get that lovely, almost choral sound. And we did that with the song Wait. And that's why the harmonies at the end are so nice and chunky, is because of the way we recorded.
Yeah, but was it all the members or just 3 out of the 4? I don't remember.
3. So you had Roger, Brian, and Freddie.
Yeah.
And we did.
I don't think John Deacon sung. Although John Deacon sang "Keep Yourself Alive," didn't he? But
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Maybe. It's been a while since I've heard the records, but I'm sure my loyal listener is sending emails right now, making sure that I know who sang "Keep Yourself Alive." And Tie Your Mother Down and I'm in love with my car. Maybe it was in love with my car but all those songs were featured in the Angels and Demons, the Good Omens show recently. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that one, and that's another thing that an artist can do. You could be a touring artist like yourselves, or you can put your music into well, I guess there's services that put your music into various media, like Sync, I guess, is the biggest one that I know, that you put your music there. But I know I'm digressing. I'm excited to know where you began and how you formed. So 9 years ago, David wrote a song. Jenny agreed to sing it. When did you decide to form this band? What is your relationship? Is it purely business, or are you together?
Oh, we've been friends now for about 10,
15 years,
something like that.
Yeah.
So Jenny was mates with my old drummer at the time, so I knew her through that. But we started doing some open mic nights and things. People started to pay us, and I've always said, as long as people keep paying me, I'll keep doing it, really. Yeah. Then we moved on from sort of an acoustic duo. We brought in a few other people.
Started writing more together.
Yeah. We now have different versions of the band for different things. So we can do either an acoustic duo, an acoustic 4-piece with backing harmonies and things, or we can go to the big full electric band where I get to do the Hendrix behind the head stuff, and Jenny gets to Beth Heart out.
Yeah, that is a nice bonus when people actually pay you. This is a job that you'd probably do for the love of it. You do sing, Absolutely. You sing and you play guitar, and you were already doing this, and somebody said, "Hey, why don't you sing and play guitar for me, and I'll give you a paycheck." Bonus.
Yeah.
Isn't
it doesn't
nice?
pay the bills. It doesn't pay the bills, but it's a self-funding hobby, if you like. So all the money that we make from the band, which is not a great deal, but it's enough, we put into buying new kit, going on tour, doing a video, recording some new music, all of those things that all cost money, but it thankfully pays for itself now, which is good.
Well, I've said it before on this podcast, and I'm sure my loyal listeners very tired of hearing it, but the music business, the money can be good, but the work's not steady. It's a constant hustle. You already mentioned you're an event planner. I work hand in hand with event planners. Do you ever hire yourself out when you're planning events? Hey, I know a great band, 3times7. Pay no attention to the fact that lead singer looks a lot like me.
It depends on the events, because most of them I'm doing a different job behind the scenes, getting things to happen. So it's hard to play and be behind the scenes. So sometimes we know people who are doing other events, or you use the network you've got, right? You try and get in wherever you can, wherever they'll have us.
Yeah, you have to have assistants that can help you stage manage. So if you do happen to hire yourself out for an event, you could have cousin Debbie take over the event, the coordination, the stage managing while you're up there on stage. But I could see that. There are two jobs that go hand in hand. I do a lot of planning myself, and whenever I do these podcasts, of course I advertise for the DJ business, and I make sure that people know what club I'm going to be at that weekend for the karaoke show. I mean, and yes, I said karaoke. That's primarily what I've been doing lately, is karaoke and weddings. But
karaoke at weddings, interesting.
No, karaoke and weddings. Sometimes karaoke weddings.
That's wild.
Oh, those are great. Those are great. Because I usually have a screen already set up. Ever since technology, you got to keep up with technology. And you've already stated that you do, when you're recording, you record with the masking and layering and layering and layering. Do you have people that help you with this? Are you going to a professional recording studio, or do you have all the gear at your house that you're able to do all this?
We do a bit of both. So we do have some gear out here. We have we're lucky actually. We have a recording studio practice room literally just down the road. A shout out to Hive Studios.
Yeah, brilliant.
And actually they get quite a lot of big names come through quite a lot as well, which is nice. So you occasionally bump into some nice faces, and you go, well, if they're doing it here, we're probably on the right track to something. But there's a guy there called James who also does all the keys on all of our tracks. So if you hear any hammered organ or piano, that'll be him. But yeah, it's just around the corner, and they give us a hand sometimes.
It depends what we're trying to record, how big it is. If it's an acoustic piece and it's just the two of us, then we can do that at home. But if it's drum kits and saxophones and keys and stuff, then we do need the extra hands and the extra inputs on the old channels.
It's hard to fit the London Symphony Orchestra in this room, I have to say.
Oh, for sure, and that's why the Beatles went to Abbey Road. That thing was around since the 30s, playing big symphonies. And you mentioned the Hammond organ. That is hand in hand with blues. Was that the organ that Ray Charles was playing in the Blues Brothers? Or was he playing a different kind of organ? Or maybe Mr. Fabulous was playing it. One of those two.
I think Ray Charles, I want to say he was on a Fender Rhodes by the sound of it. But the Hammond would be sort of Green Onions, or whenever you hear anything like that.
Yes.
MG Book. All that sort of stuff, you hear it. It's a lovely sound, though, especially when they get the Leslie speaker rearing up.
I got the chance to go and visit at Stax Records. Oh, you went to Stax Records. Oh, my goodness.
Of course. Yeah.
The history.
Made a beeline for it.
When we did our little excursion from Chicago down to New Orleans, we did Chess Records as well up in Chicago. We did Studio B. We did Sun Records. We did Stax. Stax was hilarious. I'm not wearing the T-shirt today, but we go in there and we get to the end. We go to the gift shop bit. And they were so surprised to find a couple of white English people in the middle of this slightly obscure studio. But we're like, no, we listen to your stuff all the time.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it's just south of Memphis, Tennessee there. And Collier, I guess, is where it's at. But, there's a lot of history there. Now we're mentioning recording studios. Anyone with $1,000 or so can have a computer with a microphone, with an interface, and pretty much get a good demo out. But it used to be there was a handful, maybe 2 handfuls. You mentioned Green Onions. That was the house band and the Wrecking Crew. These are the people that used to make all the records. And when I say all the records, I mean all the records, my loyal listener. All of them were made by only so many musicians, house musicians. And when Davy Jones of the Monkees, all the Monkees showed up to the recording studio, they said, "Oh, all we need is you, Davy Jones, for the vocals. Everybody else can scram, kick rocks. We already have a house band." How about that? I mean, but now, because technology has become so inexpensive, because you can buy all this stuff for, a few $1,000s, you can have a decent set of equipment. You still need a good room. You still need a good ear, an engineer that's impartial, like an editor for a film or an editor for a novel. Somebody that's impartial. You're going to come in probably 90% with a song in your head or on paper. And you're going to go in there, and the engineer may go, "Oh, that was all perfect. We'll record it as is." Or they'll give you little tweaks. Let's put a Hammond organ in there. How about a little hi-hat? How about some more cowbell?
How about some more cowbell? Always up for more cowbell.
And we're very thankful that we work with James, who works on the keys with us. He often, during the recording process, will suggest a lovely new idea that then will move the track in a different direction, which is lovely. He's really good at that, actually. Just hearing something that he's like, "Oh, have you tried this? Why don't we try that?" And all of a sudden you go, "Oh, that feels good. Why don't we, if that felt good, why don't we do this?" And then, it moves it around.
And then we've got Phil Marks, who has a tendency of liking to try and hide clown horns and things as well. So you've got to keep an eye out.
Yeah, I watched the whole Get Back, all 8 hours of Get. Was it Get Back? I guess it was. But anyway, a hammer.
Maxwell Silver hammer on the
hammering on an anvil. Or whatever he was hammering on, making that sound. Claps. That was a big thing back in the 50s and 60s. Clapping. That to make
really
those noises.
Really hard to record a clap. Like they never quite sound right until you've got to really do that in a very specific way to get an actual clap. Yeah.
Well, and the room has to have the right acoustics. And I was watching, was it That Thing You Do with Tom Hanks? And I think they went to did they go to a church maybe to do the clapping part? The recording in a church, recording in a bathroom. Weird Al Yankovic famously recorded My Bologna in a bathroom at his college because he couldn't get studio recording time, even though he worked at the studio, on the radio station. But it's crazy how many different places and how you get those sounds that twang. Okay, I know. And I'm going to take a left turn here. I know you're proficient in guitar, David, and Jenny, you're proficient in the singing. And like I said, I cannot play proficiently an instrument, let alone several instruments. Are there any other instruments that you dabble in, and are there any that you're proficient enough to where you take it on the streets?
I do plays guitar. As well as guitar, I get quite a few gigs from that. I can hit a few keys. I wouldn't say I was proficient enough to take it out. But there were a couple of tracks somewhere in my vast repertoire where there's some tinkle piano playing.
Yeah, I can play the piano badly, and I can play the guitar worse.
Perfect.
So but I found that when I was learning guitar, I couldn't sing and play the guitar at the same time. And I was thinking too much about the guitar, which was then spoiling the vocal performance. So then I was like, right, stop that. I can play a tambourine every now and again. Sometimes I get given a shaker. That's quite exciting. Oh, and my newest one, I got a whistle. That's fun. I like that.
Fun for you. Really, fun for you. Could get annoying for a lot of people. Whistles. Okay, when I was at a club in Miami, Florida, there was one person that would come in with a whistle And no
Oh,
matter
like
what
a raid
song,
whistle. Oh yeah.
oh my,
No, this is a train whistle.
oh, it was a coach's whistle. So he might have just gotten back from the ball game and just started playing this whistle, or maybe he was a policeman that got tired of directing traffic and came in with his whistle. But I wanted to shove that whistle in places that whistles should not be. But yes, a whistle could get annoying. You triggered me. You triggered me with that whistle.
I triggered you. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it was so traumatic.
Oh my gosh.
Story from Surrey.
But no, and you're talking about tambourines and different accessories. I'm sorry. You're talking about tambourines and bells and whistles and little accessories that could add flavor, that could add, and some people could, in the wrong hands, that could be bad. A cowbell could be detrimental.
Absolutely.
I did have a lady that used to come to the karaoke show with her tambourine, and every time she sang, she would bang that tambourine off key, off kilter, and I would say, no, please put the tambourine down. You have a lovely voice. That's all you need is your lovely voice. But I'm sure that's not a problem for you, Jenny. I'm sure you're wonderful with the tambourine and the cowbell and the and the whistle. Whistle.
I try, although sometimes it does get taken off me.
Okay.
If I'm particularly out.
Well, you mentioned that you couldn't sing and play at the same time. I don't think there's a lot of people that can sing and play at the same time. B.B. King didn't sing and play at the same time. It was, a little riff, baby, 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 and then here I got the blues. Baby, baby, a musician goes to work at 9 p.m. Gets off work about 5 a.m. Then the sun's coming up. Oh, I just remember the life of a musician. And I know that this is not your only job, but it's the job that it's probably good for your soul. There's a reason that you're playing music, okay? You might have you may or may not have a soul-sucking day job or a job that you just need. We in the United States, probably the only country in the free world, quote unquote, that does not have health care for everyone. Okay. And that's been an ongoing battle, is health care, at least in the UK and almost every other first world nation, quote unquote, again, has health care for their people, takes care of their people. My health care is tied to my job. I have to have a job to get that health care. And, I did start a new job, a new day job. So I had to wait 90 days to get that health care. I got like one more week for that 90 days.
You got this.
Start getting that.
I think I can make it. But, you have your health care. What, is there a possibility of making a living as a musician, as 3times7?
There's a friend of mine who actually does make a living off being a musician, but it is hard work. He's doing about 15 shows a week. And it's a lot more, the way that we do it, we get to play a lot more of what we want to play. So we don't charge the premium rate. We will take a discount, so we can say we'd like to play a few of our original songs. We're not going to just turn up and play
Valerie and Wonderwall.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, and all the sort of the big hits that everybody wants to hear, because we're trying to promote the band rather than just get the money in. So it is possible to do it, but not the way that we do it.
So, if ladies and gentlemen, 3times7, it's not going to be do 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 do. No, it's not going to be covers. It's all originals.
It's not all original. It's originals and covers, but we refer to them as original covers. So, for example, one of the songs that we play is Sledgehammer, and we thought to ourselves, how would Prince play Sledgehammer? And so we then span the song to fit my vocal tone, to fit the guitars, and then now it's got this lovely, like, soul-y, funky vibe to it that the original definitely doesn't have. It's still a cover song, but it's just not done. I haven't ever heard anyone else play it quite the way that we do. So it's one of those, like, you're going to come along with us. We're going to take you on a journey. We're going to play you some new music. We'll play you some things that you know, but maybe in a way that you haven't heard them. That's the vibe.
I like the concept. Okay. I have a cousin, Timmy. He calls himself so one of his personas is Buddha Holly, and he'll
Very
sing
good.
songs, new songs in the style of Buddy Holly. So he'll grab a guitar and his little horn rimmed glasses, and play as Buddy Holly. But yeah, maybe it is Wonderwall. Maybe it is something by ZZ Top. And I know that there's been musicians that have done stuff in the style of Elvis or in the style of this, and you say in the style of Prince. I posit to you that you're just taking all these songs, all these covers, and you're doing them in the style of 3times7, like that. Like the song I heard, with a little help from my friends. That was not Joe Cocker. That was not any version that I've ever heard before. That was Jenny's version. That was David's version. That was Jenny and David's version. 3times7. All right. I know I haven't even asked. Where did the name 3times7 come from?
Well, you're going to like this because it comes from an old New Orleans song called Tipatina. And in it goes, she was 3times7, baby. And I was probably, 20 something at the time. And we thought it was very cool. And then we were like, oh, we'll change it later, when once we've settled into what we're doing and everything else. And then it stuck. Yeah. And so now we are 3times7.
As with all my bands, it was a placeholder name that we never bothered to change.
Yeah, there's a movie called The Big Easy with Dennis Quaid and Ellen Barkin. And they go to a place called Tipitines, and I don't know if you ever got a chance. It's just off of Bourbon Street. It might be on one end of Bourbon Street if it's still there. I don't know if it was there when you got there, but I know the French Quarter is pretty much the only place that people go to when they go to New Orleans. But I did have a friend that moved to Baton Rouge, so I got to see a bit more of it. She went to she's a teacher at LSU now still, and so I got to see a little bit more than the French Quarter. Where did you go in New Orleans?
We headed straight for Frenchman Street, which is the Spotted Cat and all of that. It feels very much more of it's got that old jazz vibe to it rather than Bourbon Street. I found was great, but the music was a little bit more covers and modern. And if I'm going to New Orleans, I want to hear jazz band with a tap dancer. Like I want to eat jambalaya whilst I watch this amazing band with a trumpet in it. Like that's what I wanted. So that's where Frenchman Street seems to have that kind of vibe to it. So I ended up down there a fair bit.
So we ended up down there for Halloween. So Halloween in New Orleans, we obviously did a ghost walk.
Yeah,
so
that's
awesome.
Saw
the Hell House and all of the
Axeman of New Orleans and all of that.
In fact, we wrote a song about one of the people we learned down there called Bricktop, who was a gangster woman from back in the sort of like just before Civil War days, who used to beat people to death and then steal all their money. And she was a right old character. So we wrote a song about her called Murder on the Bayou.
Yeah, I'm half Cuban, so I have a lot of ties with the Caribbean and the voodoo that's there.
Yeah.
Half of my family practiced voodoo. I think I've been to at least 2 seances. One where they had me believing that there was cowboys and Indians and this little flame. That had me in a trance, so much so. But there's so much of that flavor in New Orleans. And I remember when I went there, the last time I went was 10 in the morning I got there, and the French Quarter was all shops and people having, street vendors and street merchants. And at 6 o'clock, it seemed like they all rolled away. And then it was music and dancing in the streets and drunkards. It was like as soon as the sun went down, it changed. That city changed from a shop, a bar, what do they call it, a bazaar, to, Sodom and Gomorrah. It was great. It was ridiculous. But I mean, it's a crazy kind of town. How's that compare to Surrey?
It's got a lot more life to it, I tell you.
Or Chicago. I mean, I've only been. Well, my brother went to Chicago for naval training. Isn't that funny? In Great Lakes but I never really got a chance to visit up in Chicago. I want to get there.
I loved Chicago. It was a really lovely town.
Yeah. So we went to Chess Records. We ended up getting a personal tour around Chicago, so around the Chess Records by the
Willie Dixon,
grandson of Willie Dixon, which was really cool. So I got to play Willie Dixon's bass, that one that's on all of the Chuck Berry and Muddy Waters albums, and
that was fun.
But we went to Buddy Guy's Legends Bar, fantastic.
We played at Kingston Mines.
We played at the Kingston Mines. That was really cool.
It was
when was the pizza?
Giordano's.
We actually had a Chicago deep dish pizza just to see what all the fuss was about.
That was fun.
It's not a pizza; it really is a pizza pie.
It was epic. It's quite different to anything we have here.
No, exactly.
It was a really interesting place to visit. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Their pizza is divisive. I don't like the deep dish. Okay, shots fired. I don't like Chicago pizza.
I can understand why. I can understand why.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, but I like a stuffed crust, and call me a Neanderthal. Okay, call I'm a Luddite or whatever. I don't know, whatever a caveman reference you want to say. I guess Luddite's not a caveman. Luddite is somebody who rejects technology. Okay. I had to save myself from that email. I know what a Luddite is.
But I've got lots of American friends, and I've been to Italy many times, but no one does pizza like the Americans. It is brilliant. Go to I've had it in New York, I've had it in San Francisco, and it is something else. I don't know what you guys do, but it is better.
You've traveled around this country more than I have. I mean, only until recently I've traveled north of the Mason-Dixon line. I got to Michigan for about 3 minutes, and then I drove cross country to Wisconsin to drop somebody off that I picked up in Michigan. So really I haven't been up in that area, and I've never been to New York, and I've heard about their pizza, and it's the water. It's that, from what I've heard, it's the water. The water comes almost from Niagara Falls, and because of the way the landscape is sloped, they don't need to use pumping stations. It naturally pumps through. Oh my gosh, I know this is fuzzy history. I've heard tell of this water, this famous water in New York, and it comes fresh from the earth. I mean, but
not that you need an excuse to get over there, but the pizza is definitely one of them.
Okay. But you've been all over this. A lot of different places on this earth. Where are the places you want to go back to, and where are you going back to with your 3times7 band?
Well, we're going on tour back to the Netherlands, Germany, and Slovakia potentially. We're not sure yet. That's very exciting. That's next year. I loved New Orleans. I would love to go back there. That would be a great stop off. We've been all over the place, really.
Budapest is high on my list. I'd love to go back to. I'd love to go to Budapest. There's the 3 Bs of Europe you need to go to: Bruges, Berlin, and Budapest. I'm 2 down.
What was the first one?
Bruges, which is a beautiful town in Belgium.
Okay, you've just schooled me. I've never heard of Bruges. The only person I know from Belgium is the Muscles from Brussels. Is Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I have had muscles in Brussels.
Okay, all right. No, Bruges. Okay, there's one to put on my list. Put that on the What Makes You Famous walking tour, and follow 3times7 around. All right. Well, I mean, shoot. Oh, so exciting. My goodness. You've been to all these places, so I'm living vicariously in my head through you. And these are places that I've seen in movies, in pop culture. Most of the places that you mentioned in Chicago, I've seen them in one movie or another. Did you get to the House of Blues? Did you see?
Yeah,
we did. We had
a gospel brunch, and it was amazing. It was amazing.
Okay,
I had so much. I
mean, one place that I have been, I did the Sun Records and the Stax Records, and I've been to Graceland several times. So I did get to visit with that. It's nice to go and appreciate the history of people that have been there before. And you say that the recording studio that you're at has quite a few people that go through it. And
Yeah.
okay, there was one thing I wanted to ask about. Jenny, you mentioned that you were in musicals. What musical? And plays? What plays? And schools? What schools? I want
Okay.
names. I want
So,
credit where credit is due.
I went to the Brit School, which is near East Croydon, which is kind of towards London from here. And they specialize in performance arts. So they have different strands, whether you're in music or dance or drama, or they do production and art and all sorts of things. It's a really creative place. And I studied musical theatre there. So that's where I learnt the skills. And then after that, I went into We Will Rock You, which is the Queen musical. And that's where I did my bit on the stage.
What was the name of the musical?
We Will Rock You.
Oh, gotcha.
It was the musical written by Queen.
Yeah.
Well,
Using all the Queen songs.
And Ben Elton.
Was it when Freddie was alive or way after?
No, unfortunately not. I was in it in 2000
No, I don't mean when you did it. I don't mean when you did it. You're obviously in your early 20s, but no, I mean, did Freddie Mercury have a hand in writing this?
No, it was after that. So it was written by, I think it was mostly written by Ben Elton, but with the input from Brian May and Roger Taylor. So they had a big say in like this crafting the storyline, because you try and knit together all the Queen songs into something that makes vague sense for a musical. They had to change some of the lyrics and some of the songs just to keep the storyline moving. But actually, they did stay really true to the melodies. They stayed true to the feel of the songs anyway. It was a really fun project to be part of. Yeah, it was really good.
Well, his performance at Live Aid, their performance at Live Aid is in history as one of the greatest performances ever. He had command, 70,000 plus people? He had them in the palm of his hand. Anything he said, the call and response, yeah. What a dream would that, even with 100 people or 200 people. Do you ever do the call and response? Do you ever get those kind of songs where you want to? Yeah, go ahead.
We've brought a Queen song into the set because obviously I've got a lot of love for their music. That it sits as part of me, it lives in my bones. So we do Somebody to Love, and we get everyone to sing along in the Find Me Somebody to Love, and everyone joins in, and we do the somebody bit, and everyone gets involved with that, and they love it. I tell you, that one. And then the other one we do is Think by Aretha Franklin. And you get the call and response and the freedom bit of that song that people join in and have a great time. I love that. It's lovely to see people wanting to play with you. You know, if you've enticed them, you've got them involved, right, let's do something together and see if we can make this happen. And it is great fun when they want to play.
Yeah.
You bet.
Sometimes they don't, and that's very awkward. But most of the time they're like, yeah, let's sing along, let's have a go.
Oh, you made me think of once again, the Blues Brothers. I got to meet Matt Guitar Murphy and talk with him quite a bit.
Oh, cool.
Oh my goodness! I mean, this is in Miami. I think he retired in Miami, but we got to talking for a good few hours, and he had a Blues Brothers hat. It was an old one though, so faded. I mean, it looked like it came from 1980. But it was he had a Blues Brothers hat on. I'm like, so all right, still feel it, still keep that alive, and you better think. Oh man, yeah. I can imagine you up there. I mean, but you have an extensive YouTube page. It really does showcase quite a bit of what you can do, what you're going to bring, what will get people off of their couches and away from their big screen TVs and even their little screens. I mean, when you go to shows, are people just filming you, or are they present? Are they there in the moment?
Thankfully, for us, a lot of people are very present. They're living in the moment with us, usually because we try and catch them off guard as much as possible. And so we love it when someone's just like, oh my goodness, what is happening? And they're I've never heard this song like this before. And they're so actively being part of what's happening that they kind of forget to record it because they're busy.
Actually, that's the biggest difficulty quite often. When we do shows sort of 2-3 times a week, And then I get to the end of the month and be like, I should put some footage out, and there is no footage because everyone's been having a good time. So I sometimes, if it's vaguely local, my old man will come along with his camera, and I'll say, if you could just film a little bit, so we've got something.
You've seen this before, George. You know what's happening.
No, and I can appreciate that. I have people every once in a while. I will hire a photographer just to take some glamour shots of me because, yes, I've made that. When a musician, an entertainer, when they're gigging, going from gig to gig. They're at that show. I'm at the Rab on Friday night in Conway, Arkansas on Friday night. But what am I going to do on Saturday night? And am I going to be there next Friday night? It'd be good if I had somebody filming, somebody taking some pictures so I can showcase it on my various social medias, which is another thing that you have to do now that you didn't have to do way back when. It used to be, you'd have flyers, maybe you'd have a street team. Maybe you were the street team. Hey, I'm gonna be playing at the Kokomo next week. Here, would you come by? And you have flyers. Now it's social media. Which makes it easier to get to a lot of people, but more time consuming in a lot of ways. How are you doing with that social media? How are you doing keeping up with technology, kids?
I just make it up as I go along. Now we've actually decided to go a little bit more old school. So a mate of mine back in the day was saying that he used to have a mailing list, and they used to just send literal little flyers out to people. So we now have a little mailing list which is for emails, and so once a month we'll send out emails with the updates of what gigs we've got coming up, with things that are happening, all to that.
New music releases, those sorts of things.
So it's not a fan club as such, but it's for people who might want to have a bit more understanding of what's going on. And then apart from that, it's just trying to post every day, posting Instagram, Facebook.
Photos of us doing stupid things, they tend to go down pretty well. And just trying to remember to be present on social media as well. Like, it's really hard. And then having a website, and then having to write EPKs and press kits, and trying to, write the new songs and think about what storyboard is your video going to have.
One of Jenny's friends, her job is actually as a social media person, and she's talking about how it's really good to get on these trends and things and try and mimic them. And I just haven't got the heart. I'm a musician at the end of the day. I'm not a social media influencer or anything like that. I can't. If the trend is sort of like tipping a bucket of water over your head and things, I'm not going to get the band to go together, tip a bucket of water on their head for the hope of a few views. No, I'll leave that to the professionals.
I'm proud to say I've made upwards of $5 from Facebook last year.
Well done. Very good.
No,
like winning the lottery.
I kid. But, and now I'm on this TikTok thing, and what I'll do is I'll split up this 1 hour podcast into little bite sizes, because that's all the kids can handle. The new generation can handle 30 seconds or 5 seconds. So I'll make 40 different little sound bites of 3times7, so that way it still gets stuck in their ears. Oh, who is that? Oh, that's 3times7. I need to look them up. Oh, okay. So that's just another way. I mean, it used to be, as the DJ, as the club DJ, as the radio DJ, I would take a 3times7 song, play it on the radio, play it on the club, and people would ask me, who is that? Oh, that's 3times7. Now that you have the music videos, I appreciate that so much, because I am a child of the MTV era. I remember the first time MTV came out on the air, and video did kill the radio star. But I play music videos when I'm doing my shows, and I'll play some of these 3times7 music videos on Friday night at when I'm doing my show, and they'll go, "Ooh, who is that? That's pretty good." And I'll let them know. So, one by one, getting people, that's my job. It's a symbiotic relationship between radio DJ and performer and musician and band. But,
and you've got to be authentic to yourself. You've got to say, this is music that I like, and you're putting yourself out as a DJ of playing the music that you like and appreciate, and that brings people into you. And we make music that we like and appreciate, and that brings you then get to know us through our music, and it's all, it's big circle really.
Yeah,
Talking
people.
of music videos, you guys don't have crossing guards really over there, do you? Or lollipop people, as we'd call them.
I guess in the big cities, if you've been to New York, they must have a crossing guard of sorts, or at least a person with a whistle, beep, and then showing up at the club with the whistle, beep.
we did when we put out the Wait music video, where obviously we dressed up as the lollipop people. We did have a few American fans going,
"What are you doing?"
Yeah, the Wait 3 times video. There's 4 of you right there doing your thing, just walking around. I'm guessing that's Surrey. Are you on the water?
We are down in Eastbourne. No,
yeah, so it's a little bit further. It's just outside of Surrey, but just a bit further south, on the coast. And it's known as a nice place for old people to go and spend their retirement, Eastbourne. So we'd gone down there because it's nice and quiet, really, and then just caused a bit of a ruckus, having a lovely time for the day.
We did help people cross the road.
We did, well. Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that so much that you took the uniforms and put them to good use. I noticed the water. I'm very, very jealous of the water. I'm from Miami in the Florida Keys. I used to live right on the Atlantic Ocean. My grandma had her house on the Gulf of Mexico, and then my mom had her house on the Atlantic. And if you're in the Florida Keys, that's only less than a mile apart,
wow.
To cross from the Gulf of Mexico. I guess it's the Gulf of America now. Oh my goodness. No, don't even start that. No, it's the Gulf of Mexico. And then to cross over to the Atlantic, it's only less than a mile. Actually, there's bridges all the way through. I missed that. My world turned from blue and to where I am now in Arkansas. It's green. So natural environments, natural states, quite a few mountains, and there's supposedly diamond mines here, hot springs. Oh, wow. So we do have some things in hot springs to see and to do, and people make wedding destinations of some of the places. So like Surrey, there is stuff to offer to people. You do have a music scene. Conway, Arkansas has a music scene. Little Rock, Arkansas, slightly bigger music scene, kind of like I don't know if it's a London really. I guess it's no New York, but it's got its population, and that's one thing that you need is people to enjoy the music. And I'm glad that you're finding those people, not just in Surrey, but all over this planet. And I hope you do get back to the 3 Bs, my friends. That's the plan. Thanks. All right, let's close this thing down. Where can people find you online? You have a website, right?
We do indeed.
It's www.7.co.uk. And we put tour dates up on there, release new music up on there, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, if you want to sign up to the newsletter, everything can be done on the website.
Who's keeping up with the website?
That would be me, and I'm working on it now, so hopefully there'll be a new update soon.
Okay, I have Dreamweaver. I think that's what I've been using to build my website. Do you use one of these services?
We're using Wix, I think it's called, and it's one of those ones where you build it yourself.
Yeah, it's not easy it's not easy to keep up with, especially putting your new stuff. I mean, most people go to the Facebooks, go to the Instagram, because it's easier to put it up.
It's all on Facebook, Instagram, and all those, and they all link back to the website. But the website shows all the tour dates and everything, where we're playing and what we're doing. It's just an easy place to put all the links, really. So it's the hub. All
right. Well, I have all your links, and I'll put them in the show notes for sure, so people know where to go. All right. Let's give some shout outs to people that have helped you along the way. David, any shout outs?
Yeah, of course. I got big shout outs to John Steele of the band Tiger, Teiger, phenomenal drummer. He's played on a few of our tracks. Sam Jefferson, greatest slide player of all time. Not particularly well at the moment, up in Manchester, does the slide work on a couple of our tunes as well. Jenny?
There are so many people to mention. James Beckett on the keys for helping us out and giving us a leg up. And
Phil Marks for mixing and putting up with us. Tom Cooper for all the mastering genius.
Big G for helping us out with some of the promo.
Oh, yeah, Big G. Can't forget Big G. And obviously yourself.
For putting us out there.
So
I was going to mention Big G. I guess it's Gary, right? For putting us together. I appreciate him so much. We can get to a certain level by ourselves, but we can get to the next level helping each other out. And that's what you find out, not just in this music business, but in life itself. You know, you can try to be a hermit and live off the grid. And some people, you know, do live like that. And, you know, I've heard a story of someone who just walked into the woods and didn't come back out for 27 years until the police dragged him back out. And this is in Maine. You'll probably hear stories about him. You'll probably look it up. But he just walked into the woods for 27 years and only talked to one person, like a hiker, in all that 27 years. Now, mind you, he was coming into town, stealing things and such. But for the most part, we cannot be that person. We need each other. And I'm glad you have each other. You know, primarily the two of you are the band 3times7, but you also have a group of friends that can help you fill out the music, be it keyboards or drums or any other instrumentation that you need. But I appreciate that so much.
As
Jenny,
you said at the beginning, help my friends.
All right. I always like to finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago. Maybe, I don't want this to be the last time that we talk either. If you have things to promote as time progresses, you come back anytime and we chit chat and talk about the things that are coming up. But I'm going to have David HOLDSTOCK give his last words for the people, and then Jenny Lawrence going to go right after. So David HOLDSTOCK, give the last words for the people.
You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need.
Mick Jagger. All right. Fantastic. Jenny Lawrence, give the last words for the people.
Ooh. Find joy in the small things. I think that's it, right?
Well, there you have it, party people. 3times7. So sweet. Out of Surrey, England. Southeast? Yeah, Southeast England. Well, I guess it's about southeast of London. Between Brighton and London. Put that on your walking tour, the What Makes You Famous walking tour. You got a lot of history. You've been doing it at least 9 years as this band, but you've known each other. You can tell you're great friends. You've known each other, and you meld off each other, and it's great. I could see that you've built this long lasting relationship, and you're creative together. I appreciate that so much. So, you keep doing what you do. Thank you so much, David and Jenny, for being on the podcast. I appreciate it. And make sure you find 3times7 everywhere on the social medias. I got the links right there in the show notes. Check it out. Click, click, click. Follow, follow, follow. Stalk, stalk, stalk. Is stalk an accurate word? No, just follow. Follow, like, share, do all that kind of thing. 3times7 needs to be heard. They're bluesy renditions of original songs and some cover songs. Pick out those obscure songs like, I guess it was, Sowing the Seeds of Love by, oh my goodness, Tears for Fears. I think that was the first cover that I didn't even know was a cover. It was an old Beatles song from way back. And, I like when they pull out these obscure songs and make them their own. So you're turning even the cover songs into 3times7 songs. That's pretty cool. All right, that's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Thank you so much, 3times7, for coming on. Now, if you, my loyal listener, if you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's keysdan, radiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.